morning. Just fired this thing up about 5 degrees out. Cold start, no plugged in. Fired it up actually, fairly surprised. We're gonna go out and put some logging roads in across some swamps. Not a lot of snow, but it should be frozen, but if it's not, we'll break it up and then pack it down and scrape off the grass. We'll see how it goes. We'll give this thing a minute to get its life together here and warm up. So load up and head out and pack some roads down. All right, we got about a half-mile reverse here. Maybe, yeah, probably a half-mile reverse. Backs you pretty much right up to the swamp, but this road, someone driven down it when it was wet, so there's big frozen roots in it, and I boat backed this thing in the ditch already. So we're already off to a good start. Machine's running, all warmed up, full of gas, so we'll see what we can do. I don't necessarily think we're gonna be doing much with this besides getting the grass knocked down because we don't have a lot of snow and it's been cold, so if it is iced over, we're kind of just gonna walk on top of it. But if it isn't and the swamp is still warm and we do get into the water, that's what we really want, to push the water up on top and get it to freeze in real tight. So we'll see what happens when we get out here. I've been out here a couple times before, but it's usually with a lot of snow, and then it's usually open water. It's when there's no snow, it doesn't insulate, so that, or no snow, there's no insulation, so it usually freezes. So we'll see. I have my doubts that it'll be open water just because there's no snow and it's real cold, but we'll see. Stay tuned. On the bright side, this section is the worst section of swamp that's real wet, that has a really bad low spot in it, and if we get stuck, at least we're straight out from the flatbed, so we can pull it out if we have to, which I don't think that's gonna happen, but anything's possible. All right, this is what it looks like to begin with. I know right over there is real wet, and right over here is real wet, just from experience being out here before. So drop her in first. We're gonna track across it first just to see how wet it really is before we try to knock some grass down. I was just out in the Spog Swamp the other week. Yeah, right there, it's gonna be broke through. You see it? We'll see here. Yeah, water. Well, it is gonna be wet today, boys. Real wet. Oh yeah. Well, let's see if we can't get stuck. All right, I know like right here is real deep and then right to my right is deep. But yeah, look at that. It's not frozen like I thought. So that's the key to coming out here early and packing these things in so the loggers can come out here with the bulldozers and semi trucks. So let's keep her going. Okay, we made one full rip across. Looks like I sorted out some softer spots. So we'll just keep running her down. That's all we can do. Like right there, yep, that's wet. Like I said, I was just out in the swamp with my smaller cat the other day, and it was obviously not frozen, it was totally thaw, but I would drive across it like nothing, so I guess we'll see. This is like the first time I've actually put this cat to real use. I've been going through it a long time, so hopefully it holds up today. Could be a good deal for it. This is what I kind of built it for. That's why it doesn't have big equipment on the back. I try to keep it lightweight and a good dozer blade just to do this kind of work. So looks like it's doing all right. I got a less aggressive track on this that I built just to keep it from tearing up the ground so much, especially when low snow conditions, to do more of a packing sense versus tearing it up. So it looks like it's working pretty well actually. We'll just keep her going. Little video here. It's all just muskeg swamp. That's the only downside of, oh yeah, I'm getting wet. So it's the only downside of doing this thing. It packs this thing with ice and it's got to sit in the garage overnight. But yeah, this is, I guess I expected it to be frozen. I don't know what I was thinking, and I've done this long enough to know that it wasn't going to be. But yeah, getting this packed down, tomorrow morning you'd probably be able to drive a pickup right across this like nothing. So it's just getting the water up to the top along with the air, getting it frozen. I did sink this thing down once pretty good already, so we we might end up getting stuck. But good thing I got plenty of other things to get it out with if that happens. But I'm not gonna try to push it too hard because I don't want to turn it into a deal. So there we are. All right, so it's open water there, and I think over there is not much better, but it hasn't been touched yet, and I'm close to my truck, so I think I'm just gonna send it here to the right and see how bad it really is. If we get stuck, I'll just be able to pull myself out. So here we go. Oh yeah, she buried through the musky. I don't necessarily worry too much about getting stuck. It's just like, it definitely could happen. I know there's like a river right there that comes through. That's deep. It's like these things just kind of bog down, but they just keep moving. So I don't know. You can definitely feel it when it starts pulling power. Yeah, like we're burying there. Yeah, get out of that. So yeah, everything on to the right is pretty soft. Usually you can tell by the type of grass. Like if it's taller, it seems all right, but if it's like a real low grass, you probably should be careful. Like this is pretty wet here. You can feel it bog the machine down. Oh yeah, we're really bogging now. But gotta get in there, otherwise it ain't gonna freeze. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that's bogging big time. So everything to the right there, we're probably not gonna be able to get into too much. Just far too unfrozen at the moment. See if we can't. See, it's some here too. I don't know. I don't really want to bog into that. It's that different type of grass. You can tell. Like this stuff is almost dry. So stuff on the right is tough. Okay, we're gonna track back here. Apparently, there's another swamp quite a ways back here to the right. So we're gonna see what it looks like. I've never been back here before, so we'll rip back here quick and see what it's about. Okay, we made it out to the next swamp. This thing looks sketchy in my eyes, especially in the middle where it like kind of lows down. So we're gonna run the edge of it. Just do a little once over on the machine quick because I haven't really put this thing through its paces yet. But it's doing very well, especially with my homemade tracks that nobody said would work. Haven't broke a single cleat yet. I went across multiple stumps with it now. And it was like 6 degrees and it's had outside all night, so they were totally cold. So overall it's looking good. So we're gonna see if we can't bury it out there. So let's give her a whirl. I think this is one of them deals where you get out while you're ahead. I just dove her in deep there. She was up over the tracks, so I think right here is real wet. So we'll let that freeze down a little more and come back later on this one. She's over here is gonna be deep too. It's not worth getting stuck. But yeah, I think I'm gonna walk up there and see what the rest of it looks like. Yeah, so I thought that was the bad part and I got through it and it actually was decent through here. I'm like, oh, well, I'll just gas it and just kind of send it across because I'm like, well, this looks like the worst spot. And, to my surprise, she was over the tracks right there and stopped like a rock. Just hit there and stopped. I'm like, whoa, you better back out. So I don't think this is gonna be, although there's some muskeg up here, but that stuff you gotta get worried about, and it's awfully wet on this side. So see, it's just flat ice there and it broke through that much. Maybe you could go to the right of it, but give it like a week, you could probably drive right across that. So we're gonna walk up here and see if this ain't the only one. I think there's one more, but this is definitely the bad spot. Okay, so yeah, this must be the next one. That's the log landing. There's just this area that's wet, which doesn't even look that bad. So if I could get across there, this would be easy to pack down. So maybe we'll give it a whirl and try to get across it again. Be nice to get it all knocked out so I don't have to come back. Okay, we're back to the original swamp. It's about a mile track from where the other one is to this one. I kind of want to dip to the left here to get a little more progress in this thing. But I did do that up towards the front earlier and it was awfully wet. So maybe we'll just dip to the left here and see if we can get this thing to pack in a little bit better. This left is really what I want to get done. So see if we can. Yeah, she bogs there big time. If we get some of this left packed in, we'd be doing pretty good. Here we go. This is gonna be wet. Oh, less wet than I thought. It's really deceiving. Like that's probably wet. That's standing water. But we just want to make most progress we can want to have to come back out a bunch, but I think we're gonna have to come back out at least one more time. There's kind of be no way around that. It's pretty early in the season to be doing this stuff anyways. It's like the first time we got real cold weather. So yeah, this fucker's bogging pretty good. Yep. You can see there, it's bogged in pretty good. God, I'd like to get that back a little bit more, but I don't want to get stuck. You can see where the belly pan was dragging, how low it is there. See if we can't come across here. Get some of this. She is wet though. I mean, it is a hell of a lot better than doing nothing, but just all risk versus reward when it comes to this stuff. How much you want to risk for how much reward. Let's see if we can back up here a little bit. And it sucks because the more you track across this stuff, the softer it gets. Because you're breaking it up, kinda. Can't back into this over here. It's pretty fucking wet though. Oh yeah. Let's see if we can get a good image of this. I mean, it's floating bog in the winter in 12-degree weather. I shouldn't stick around and record when I do this because my luck will end up getting stuck, so not paying attention. Probably ain't super good because that means we have to go out forward if we do get back into something. But it looks like we're staying afloat. Pretty risky, especially right here. Real risky maneuvers right now. But I do have good confidence in these machines, and I've pulled them through some pretty nasty terrain in the summer. So I do have confidence in them that they will dig themselves up a lot. That's better. Probably should put a hydraulic winch on it since it's got couplers on the front and back, but really the hydraulic winch ain't going to do you much if you have nothing to hook to, and we tend to be working in swamps, and swamps have nothing to hook to. So, but I think the key is just to be careful. And actually, that is what I wanted. That worked out really good. I don't know if this thing does better in reverse. I suppose because the weight of the blade's behind me, and it kind of carries the tracks instead of bogging the front down because of the blade weight. So actually, that worked in my favor big time. I don't know, like if this swamp's really deceiving. It's like some spots are really wet, some spots you'd think are wet that aren't wet. I don't know. So it's just like you're going and then all of a sudden you're sunk. So I think that's just about how this works. Like right here, boy, it's fucking boggy, real boggy. But this thing's about 350 horsepower, so you just stand on it and it keeps going. Oh yeah, that's real boggy. This is what I wanted though. This is what we're looking for. Gotta get this froze down. Even if it takes a little risk. If someone's gonna pay money to have me come do this, I better do the best I can. Otherwise, it ain't worth them calling. Because they can just figure out a better way to do it. Which I don't know if there is a better way, but snowmobiles just takes longer and more effort. Where this thing, you kind of just send it across and she's good. Put a little speed in behind this so we can get some. Oh yeah, right there's bog. Oh yeah, we better pull out. There we go, that's a lot better. I feel better about that. Yeah, that's nice. Let's see, let's take a look here. walk out here. Oh yeah. That's what we're looking for. In a week, probably drive a pickup right out here. She's just steaming. Wet. Real wet. I think this is about as big as a machine you want to go out to do this kind of work with, but it's comfortable, it's got room, big fuel tank, blade, in case there was snow in this situation. You can push the snow into the holes, but yeah, she's gonna be a muddy mess, but I think I'll just track it down the gravel road before I load it and knock all that stuff out. And then it'll probably be fine. But yeah, no, it's real good. He said you can barely walk out here. Should have put boots on, but yeah, it's gonna be smooth. And then usually like there's little high spots, and if it freezes tight, well it will, the dozer from the logging company can just scrape it right off. But this is the main part, the important part. We're just gonna run the tracks off this thing quick, knock some freaking mud out of them. Less work I have to do and mess in my shop. Well, good thing this thing's got a pretty good high gear in it. It probably does about, I don't know, 15, 20. So, dug out some of the stuff underneath it there. So, slap this thing in drive and give her a good little rip. That should do good. That should be better. Line her up and get out of here. Well, overall, successful mission. We're not home yet, but see all the muskeg packed in there. The main thing was wanting to get the muskeg out of the tracks. That's why I just ripped it a little bit there, but yeah, a lot packed in there, but what do you do? I guess if this is what you're gonna do, that's what you're gonna deal with. Tracks held up great, like we talked. These are literal DOT street signs that hold up like stop signs and arrow signs. And they happen to be spaced perfect for the bolts, for the guides. And they're like flat on the top. It's like, oh, no bad traction, whatever. But it was really nice because it steers really good. And if you use it in this type of terrain, if you have just like a big angle, it digs so hard when you want to steer and you almost dig yourself down. And I'll be honest, it's got plenty of traction. There's so much surface area, all this edge. I was a little worried how the sprockets were gonna wear. Honestly, they stick up above the cleat, but zero wear issues. I just don't see it ever being an issue, so pretty stoked with how them worked out. But time to put her in the garage and call her a day. Till next time.